Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix, and this is my second podcast, 002. Welcome back. Now, that's not going to be a thing of mine where I constantly say what number I'm on. I probably won't bring it up until maybe around 10 or 20. So I wanted to start off by talking about Cat Williams. I did do a quick thing on him, but I wanted to go back to Cat Williams simply because I found it interesting that there are so many people trying to dig up stuff on Bernie Mac. Cat Williams never said Bernie Mac didn't steal jokes. He was talking about Bernie Mac's relationship with Steve Harvey as Cedric the Entertainer. He never said Bernie Mac was an angel. He just said Steve Harvey didn't like him, and that's what they were talking about. And it's like they keep trying to dig up stuff on him. It's like, did you not hear what Cat was talking about? It's like they're trying to find as much dirt as they can on Bernie Mac to help save face for Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer, which I think is interesting. I also wanted to bring back up the weather. I did a quick thing when I talk about 2024 was the year of the weather, because the weather's just going crazy. Now, thankfully, where I live, we haven't gotten the snow like a lot of places have gotten. What we got instead is just rain and freezing temperatures and the winds. The winds have been fierce around here, but the freezing temperature and ice, I think I'd rather get the snow, to be honest with you. I'd rather have the snow than cause at least you can go play in the snow. It's not that fun to play in the ice unless you're ice skating. And that's only fun for so long. With snow, you can build things with snow, throw them at people, things like that. But yeah, 2024 so far has been quite interesting. I mean, we're still in January and we're getting all this stuff. The weather, and I saw some more videos about the tornadoes in Florida, and I was right. It was like something out of a Marvel movie, the way it just touched down and did the damage it did. Now, for this podcast, I did make some notes, mainly just so I can keep ideas in my head. I didn't want to sit here and try to keep coming up with things. One thing that I decided that if I don't touch, the notes are just guidelines. If I don't touch on everything, no big deal. So yeah, one of the things also I think is interesting is our phones spying on us. Because I talked about Gen Z and something. I can't remember if I don't even remember if it was the last podcast or not. But I talked about Gen Z. Oh yeah, quiet quitting. But my phone started bringing up stuff about Gen Z, and of course getting those videos in TikTok where Gen Z doesn't want to work. No, Gen Z doesn't want to be taken advantage of. They've seen what happened to the previous generations, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. Sometimes I think I should have been born as part of the Gen Z just because of my mentality, where I've never been that person that goes above and beyond. I'll take that back. I did go above and beyond a couple times, but I learned early on not to do that ever again. It never benefited me. Maybe I need to take that back too. I just thought there was one time it benefited me, but that was only because it was fast food and they were shorthanded. I had taught myself to work the kitchen. I was hired as a cashier, but I taught myself to work the kitchen, and it was shorthanded in the kitchen, so I started working both. They could literally put me in the kitchen or the front line, and that's because I taught myself. Do I recommend going above and beyond like that? No, I actually don't. It's rare that I say go above and beyond for a job, because it's been said 1,000 times, if you drop dead, they're going to replace you tomorrow. There's not going to be a mourning period. They're not going to leave your position open out of sympathy for you. It's not going to happen. And Gen Z has got a chance to see all that. They've seen how the previous generations have been treated, and they see how they're being treated in the job market. And people keep talking about AI is going to replace everybody. No, it's not. And we're nowhere. It's going to be probably 50 to 100 years before AI replaces everyone. That stuff is nowhere near capable of doing the job that a human can do. It's just not there yet. It can do a lot of things, but it's not to that point where it's going to replace it. There's no fear of your job. I mean, by now we're supposed to have robots working warehouse jobs and all that stuff, and it still hasn't happened. And the main reason it hasn't happened is cost. No one wants to spend the money to get the ball rolling for that stuff. Think about this for a second. If someone in, say, the beginning of 2000 has spent the money to just put robots in every position, by now we probably would have robots in every position. The jobless rate would be astronomical. It'd just be up through the roof. So yeah, so am I worried about losing my job? No. Well, at least not losing my job to a robot. But yeah, when it comes to work environment, I'm the one who believes you should just show up and do your job. If you make some friends along the way, awesome. If you don't, awesome. I think if you go to work to socialize, yeah, I don't get along with you, actually. People who go to work to socialize, I don't necessarily get along with them. I find them annoying, actually. Like, if your sole purpose is to socialize while you're at work, yeah, because my thing is, I'm going there to work. If there's time to socialize, I'll socialize, but let me do my job, then we can socialize later. I have made friends along the way at different jobs. One job, I worked with this young lady, and I used to make her laugh all the time. Like, I took a couple of days off, and she was depressed because she said no one was there to make her laugh. So yeah, so she's a good friend. We're still in touch, actually, on Facebook. Actually, I don't even get on Facebook, so I guess I can't say we're still in touch. But yeah, you make some friends along the way, and I like to think I left a good impression on them. But yeah, my thing is, like I said, they're gonna replace you tomorrow if you drop dead. So use your PTO. When I find out people have like 365 days of PTO saved up, I'm like, what are you waiting for? Go take some time off. My wife is notorious for letting her PTO build up to the point where she starts to lose it. I'm like, use your PTO. Take some time off. I know there's going to be the extreme feminist groups are going to be mad about this, but I literally had to yell at my wife to take some time off. She was so stressed out. I was like, take some time off. So don't make me hide your keys. You're not going to work. Just take some time off. Put in some PTO. Take some time off. I was to that point. And there was one time where the weather was really bad. They canceled school. It was icy out. My wife's like, I got to go work. Like, you have the option to work from home. Do it. And she didn't work from home. She kind of had to make it look like it was her idea. But yeah, I put my foot down. It's like, it got to the point where I was like, you're not leaving this house. It's dangerous out there. You're not going anywhere. And she stayed home and worked. And the world didn't fall apart at work. So yeah, just remember, it's a job. It's not your life. Unless you work for yourself, then that's different. But if you're working for someone else, one of the things that's always bugged me when working for someone else, when it's like, we're like a family, that's a red flag for me at a job. I hate when they say we're like a family, because that means they're just looking for ways to take advantage of you. And if you have people like that in your life who constantly are like, we're like a family, run. If you can, find another job, because jobs that say we're like a family are usually toxic, in my experience. I worked a job that was like working in high school, and the only reason I stayed at that job for so long is because it was flexible. And when I finally left, they did an exit interview, and I was blunt to be blunt. I was like, would you recommend this job to you? No, I wouldn't. Oh, why not? Because it was like being in high school. It was horrible. All the little cliques running around here. And I even pointed out the man bashing that went on. It was rampant. It's like, but if the guy said anything, it was like, how dare you? What? And they report you to HR. Like, wait, you just threatening to kill your husband because he bought a fishing pole, but that was like $100, but you just spent $300 on a pair of shoes. But yet he's in the wrong. And you're going to report me to HR for pointing that out to you. It's like, yeah, whatever. It was bad. The male bashing was horrible at that place, and I'm glad I left. And like I said, when they asked about recommending this place to anyone else, I was like, no, I would not recommend this place to anyone else. It was a horrible experience, and I wish to God I hadn't stayed there so long. But I did meet some nice people there. I remember there was one guy that worked there. He'd been there longer than me, and it got to the point where he asked me about his resume, and I was like, what? Why do you have to be? Because I thought he was going to be a lifer there. But I later found out he had applied for a position at that place, and they wouldn't give it to him. Because it turns out they had in their head that he was a screw-up. The truth is he was not a screw-up. In fact, he was one of their best employees, and he rarely actually made mistakes. But because he made a mistake, like, I would say 10 years ago, actually, because he had been there a long time before I got there. They held it over his head. But yet they would promote all these other people who were nowhere near qualified to do those jobs. And he's like, he would do it, apply multiple times trying to get this position. They wouldn't give it to him, so he had enough after the last time. Or, I said last time. After the last time. He put his resume in someplace else and got it like that. He was out the door. I was happy for him, and I told him, go for it. When he told me what he was doing, I said, go for it. You need to get out of here. And I've been blunt with people when I know that they don't belong in a job. Not because they're bad at the job, just because I know they can find someplace better to work that's going to suit them. And it's like, don't stay at a job just to stay at a job. I think unless you can see a real future with that company, get out. Just run for the hills. I left the job and went into a minimum wage job. Let me say it again. I left the job and went to a minimum wage job. I was making good money, but that job was so toxic, I left and went to a minimum wage job. I wasn't at that job. That was actually, I went from one job to a fast food job. I wasn't at the fast food job for maybe 2 years, and then I finally found something else to go to. It was never my intention to stay at the fast food job that long. I hadn't even planned on being there 2 years, but I found another job, went to that, and started climbing up the ladder again. But also, I'm one of those people who don't necessarily climb up the ladder a lot. When I do, I do it. But now that I'm older, I find it harder to climb up the ladder. But to start off, I was never a brown noser. I never tried to kiss butt. No. I just couldn't do it. It's just, it didn't feel right to me. But work environments are a tricky thing. Like when COVID hit, I was one of those people who were like, yeah, I'll never work from home. Nah. But when I got a chance to work from home, I never wanted to go back to the office. But it was a double-edged sword in the sense that I don't socialize at all. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's not necessarily a good thing. But the chance to just work from home has been awesome, especially for my kids. I get to see my kids a lot, and I love my kids. I mess with my kids. I joke with them, telling them that if I ever got a chance to build a time machine, I tell them, you should thank your lucky stars time and travel doesn't exist. And I mess with them like that. And I do that horrible joke where I tell them, I'm going to get milk. I'll see you later. And I always come back. I think I like the relationship I got with my kids. So one of the things I taught my kids is to have a thick skin. Not to be closed off or anything like that, but just to have a thick skin. Mainly because, the world is cruel out there. I want them to be able to stand up for themselves, not take crap from anyone. And I think I've done a good job in teaching them how to do that. My son had some behavioral issues starting off, but he was on medication, seeing a therapist and all that. And when he got to, I want to say, maybe the end of 4th grade, 5th grade, is like a switch flipped, and he was a completely different kid. We got him off the medication. He stopped going to therapy. He's doing a lot better. He still has he's a kid. He still has his kid issues. Let's put it that way. And then there's my daughter, who is short, and I do make short jokes at her expense. Of course, she also calls me a fat, ugly pig. So there's that. That's the kind of relationship we have, and I'm glad I can joke with my kids like that. And there are times I say some stuff like, yeah, don't ever repeat that in public. We'll probably go to jail. Like, we have some really dark, horrible jokes that we say in the house. I would never repeat them, not even on here. Basically, the jokes are so bad, Richard Pryor and George Carlin would both be embarrassed. That's how bad they get. Oh, that reminded me, back to Cat Williams. I just thought of that. They were talking about comedians stealing jokes. Comedians stealing jokes is not a new thing. That's been going on since comedy's been around, people stealing each other's jokes. Does it make it right? No. That's like, well, everybody's killing each other. It doesn't make it right. But I was thinking about that. If you were going to steal jokes from dead comedians. Because not make sure they've been dead a long time and their stuff is not being circulated on YouTube. You probably get away with it. Am I encouraging it? Sure, why not? Mainly because you're not stealing food from you're not stealing people's money in that sense. If you're stealing from a community who's been dead for 10, 20 years and their stuff's not being circulated on the internet, you can probably get away with it. Unless you wind up in the same circle of friends that comedian had, then you're probably going to get roasted. But yeah, stealing jokes is not new. There was the whole thing with Joe Rogan and Carlos Mencia. Now, I was never a Carlos Mencia fan to begin with, but he was pointing out all the jokes Carlos was stealing, and I think even Joe Rogan actually stole jokes, but yet for some reason he went after Carlos Mencia hard, and it was just like, how come he didn't do that to anyone else? And a lot of people pointed that out. Because there was this thing with Amy Schumer. I'm not a fan of hers either. But she's been called out multiple times for stealing jokes. And yet, someone like Joe Rogan's silent about it. So, yeah, stealing jokes is not new. It's been around forever. And I think the main reason Carlos got caught is he stole jokes from Bill Cosby and some other people. I think he stole some Sam Kinison jokes. Actually, when Carlos was blown up, Sam Kinison was dead, so he probably thought he could steal from Sam Kinison, except Sam's stuff was still fresh and still being circulated. So there was that. But, yeah, and I believe if Carlos wanted to still be in the spotlight, he would still be in the spotlight. But I think after that whole fiasco, I feel like he just didn't want to be in the spotlight anymore. Now, I know he's done interviews after that. I haven't seen them because, like I said, I'm not a Carlos Mencia fan. But a lot of people have gone through that and bounced back and got back in the spotlight, but he didn't do that. And I kind of felt like maybe he didn't want to. And I kind of wouldn't blame him because the way people just turned on him was just horrible. He's not the first. He's not going to be the last. But yeah, that interview with Kat is just hilarious. But something else about that is that they were talking about Shannon Sharpe, the way he handled it. I think he handled it perfectly. He let Kat spill the tea. He let him talk, and it blew up. And even Shannon Sharpe was just like, he's like, what are you talking about? It's not going to blow up. His people were telling him this is going to blow up. This is it. And when it blew up, he was like, oh, okay. I didn't see anything wrong with the interview. He knew his person in front of him. Let me rephrase it. He knew who he was interviewing. You cannot interview everyone the same way. With Cat Williams, you just let him talk, and you're going to have a hit. I like Cat Williams. He's always made me laugh. I love it when he does a pimp named Slickback. I can't even say his name now. But when he does that, he's that character. And yeah, I didn't get myself. I think people were just getting on Shannon Sharpe just to get on Shannon Sharpe because maybe they weren't fans. I'm not a fan of Shannon Sharpe either. But at the same time, he handled that interview just fine. I didn't see anything wrong with it. If it had been someone who wasn't talking or someone who was just not answering the questions, then yeah, he needed to go in. But Cat was more than willing to talk. He had no problem talking. He was ready. He was ready to talk and just put it all out there, and he did. It's just one of those things where I think Shannon Sharpe just got criticized to get criticized. That was it. One thing I didn't know about Cat's all the kids he adopted. I didn't know he was doing all that. That's actually something else when you think about. Cat Williams is really not someone who's always in the media unless he's getting arrested or something like that. But otherwise, you don't really see a lot of tabloid stuff on him, which I think is interesting, to be honest with you. Another thing I wanted to touch on was relationships. I'm not sure why, but for a while there, every time I turn around, I was getting relationship advice. It's like, I've been married 20 years. I don't need relationship advice. And the advice I was getting was horrible. It was horrible. I was like, what is this crap? And I'm like, don't do any of this. You're going to be single for the rest of your life. Don't listen to these people. Internet relationship advice is horrible. It's rare, and I mean very rare, you come across someone who gives good relationship advice. Like I saw someone said something about communication is not key, or it was weird the way they put it. It was like they were saying don't communicate. It's like, no, you need to communicate. Trust me on this. That's one you need to do. Now, do you need to communicate every little thing? No. But you need to communicate. You got to be able to talk to the person you're in a relationship with. If you can't talk to the person you're in a relationship with, that's not a good relationship. I mean, yeah, if you have your friends and family that you can talk to, that's great. But you should also be able to talk to the person. They don't have to be like your best friend. Whenever I hear that, oh, your person in a relationship should be your best friend. No, they shouldn't. They do not have to be your best friend. Just forget that. They need to be someone you can talk to, that you get along with, that you're happy to be around, and again, talk to. When I hear people say, you know, be your best friend. No, you're going to have a best friend. Should you be friends? Yeah, on some level you should be friends. But best friend, no, they don't have to be your best friend. But yeah, and I hear all this other relationship advice stuff. And my favorite is when I hear women talk about why should they have to date down. And I'll see men's eyes roll and their heads roll. It's like, oh God, here we go again. I've never understood that mentality from certain women who feel like, why should I date down? It's like, no one says anything when a man dates down, but if a woman dates down, it's a big thing. It's like, I don't get that. It makes no sense. If you're happy with the person and they're okay with you making more money than them, I don't see the problem. In my relationship with my wife, I made more money than her, but I was making minimum wage, and that was only because she didn't work. But when she started making more money than me, my first thought was, ooh, I'm going to be a cat man. You got the head going there. That was my first thought. It was like, I still work, but she makes way more money than me. So, and I've never had a problem with it. I've never understood that crap. It's like, get over yourself. If you're a guy who's upset because your spouse makes more than you, you need to go to therapy. And if you're a woman who's upset because your man doesn't make exactly what you make, or they make less, you need to go to therapy too. Like, if your whole relation is just based on money, you're going to be married, divorced, married, divorced, married, divorced. That's what's going to happen. And I hear these people who are on their fifth marriage. It's like, have you not learned anything? This time it's going to work. No, it's not. It's not going to work. You're going to get divorced because you haven't learned anything. This is something directed at both men and women, in that no matter if you're male or female or whatever you identify as, if you're in a relationship and you can't talk to that person, you're going to have problems. In fact, you're going to have problems down the road. Like, let's say your spouse brings up, hey, let's move here, and you're just like, oh, okay. Instead of speaking up and going, I don't want to move, because you don't want to rock the boat, but then you're resenting them. Don't do that. You need to speak up. Now, if you're a married couple and the spouse says, we're moving, not that they're asking you, hey, can we move? No, they're saying we're moving. Then you're like, no, we're not. And they get mad. I got some bad news for you. Your relationship's about to come to an end. Because that means that person saw you as something they can control, and now they're from that they can't control you. But part of me wonders, why did they have that mentality to begin with? Were you speaking up? Were you speaking up when they asked you questions, or were you just giving in? So, in a relationship, both parties a lot of times are at fault when it comes to things like that. Now, if we're talking about cheating, that is different. Especially online, especially today's society. Oh no, I can't even say today's society. This has always been a thing, even all the way back to the 80s and stuff. When a woman had an affair, it was romanticized, it was cheered on, and it was praised that she's doing it for her. But the guy had it, it's purely physical, he thinks of his wife as a doormat, and all this stuff. It's like, no, if you have an affair, you're in the wrong. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, you're in the wrong. There's never an excuse for an affair. I always hear people come, well, if the spouse in the pain. No. If you're not happy in a relationship, get out. I've never understood people who cheat. It's like, if you're not happy in a relationship, get out. But I'm happy in a relationship. No, you're not. You're not happy in that relationship. Get out. Why are you doing that? Don't cheat. just get out the relationship. But it is what it is. Some people actually get off on cheating, and that's your kink. I've never been that guy who I've just never been that guy. To me, if I'm going to be with another woman, I'm leaving the woman I'm with first, and then I'll go out and look around. Like I said, I've been married for 20 years. If I get divorced now, I'm staying single. I do not want to be bothered with the dating life, because right now it seems like it sucks. But I will say this, that is solely based on the online presence of dating and dating advice, that it seems like it sucks. The reality is, it's actually not that bad. If you ignore the online stuff, there's still a lot of sane people out there. And online just makes it seem like it's horrible, when in reality, it's not that bad. You can still find someone. Like whenever I hear people, oh, that reminds me, yeah, it just popped in my head. Whenever I hear people talking about, I'm going to be alone forever, it's like, watch 600 pounds. Watch my 600 pound life. Those people are 600 pounds and still got someone. It's you. Sorry, it's you. If they can find someone, you can find someone. I mean, these people are huge, and they're still finding someone. I hate to say it, but it's you. If you're always in a relationship, or if you're always in and out of relationships, it's you. You're the common factor. You need to stop, look around, look in the mirror, and think about the relationship. Because I guarantee you, you're dating the same personality over and over. Just in new packagings, but it's the same personality over and over and over. And you need to ask yourself, why am I dating this personality? Why am I attracted to this personality that never works out? And I just don't get it. It's like, why would you keep dating the same personality? Well, I like that personality, but you're always single. Your relationship lasts for maybe a year, and then you're single again. And if you're a woman doing that and you get pregnant, you now have a kid with that person who you can't stand. And vice versa, if you're a guy and you get the girl pregnant, you now have a kid with the person you can't stand. So why keep dating that personality if the two of you are not getting along? So yeah, whenever I hear stuff like that, the double standards in relationships and just in life when it comes to men and women, I feel like, why? Why do that to yourself? Just go on, find something else, and be happy. Just let that stuff go. Now, one thing I did want to go back to is, in the first podcast, I talked about my book. I'm towards the end of it, writing it. I pulled it out yesterday to write. I pulled it up on the computer, and I sat there and stared at it for at least 5-10 minutes. I don't know how to finish my story. I just stared at it. I just like, in my head, I know how I want to finish it, but when I go to do it, I can't get it right. It's like, where do I want to go next with this? And it's like, I just can't think of where to go with it. And then I think about, well, maybe I should focus on the other stories, but I don't want to start the other stories until I finish this one. Because I was going to do some stories and read them on here. I thought about trying to do like a 1-minute story, but every story I came up with, I can't fit it into just a 1-minute segment. Because I was just trying to do like a quick short story, but I couldn't get it. Most of my stories end up being about a minute 20, minute 40. It's like, and I try to shimmy it down, but I would have to take out a lot of key factors about it. Like I had one thing about a time loop, and I had another one about robots, and I just couldn't get it cut down to 1 minute. But speaking of robots, I finally watched Pluto, which from what I understand is a retelling of the stories by the author of Astro Boy. I don't know the author's name, but from what I understand, it's like all the stories he's done, it's a retelling of it, and it's been quite interesting to see, like, the one character who's clearly Astro Boy, but it's also, you get a sense of all the other robots. If you ever watched the robot stories from that time frame of Astro Boy, you can see all the other robot characters that are supposed to be in there. And I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's actually sad. I will tell you this: it's a sad, depressing story, but it's a good story. If you get a chance to watch it, I definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix, so there's 8 episodes. I don't know if they were each an hour long, but I know the last 2 episodes are an hour long. Because I was watching it, my daughter goes, "Are these an hour long?" I was like, "I guess they are. I just never noticed. I was just into the story." So maybe they are an hour long. I haven't gone back to look. It's just something popped in my head just now. But yeah, Pluto on Netflix is pretty good. So if you get a chance to watch it, definitely go watch it. First got started, reviews is what I did, and I got some nice reviews. But I also noticed I've been doing some like the 1 minute stories, quick 1 minute stories of stuff that pop in my head. I mean, get some nice views on those. I definitely might keep doing that. Even on YouTube, I got some nice views. So YouTube and TikTok, well, definitely something I might keep up. Oh, I know, something just popped in my head. Reddit stories. I do like those stories I hear sometimes. I like a lot of the like the fiction stories that people put in there. There's a lot of good ones. But the am I the asshole stories are interesting. And so a lot of times I'll go straight to comments and look at the comments. And a lot of the comments are like, this is not real. And then I don't understand people who take those Reddit stories, am I the asshole, and rewrite them. Like, why are you rewriting them? You made it worse. You didn't make it better. And because there was one story where like the guy talked about he beat up his dad. Now he's so angry, and then I went home and beat up my wife. It's like, that's not how the story originally ended. Why did you do that? Like, why did you rewrite? And there's a lot of stories like that. People will rewrite them and put them on TikTok. Like, there was no point. It was a good story the way it was. Why did you make it worse? You didn't make it better. You made it worse. And there are some stories that are just clearly fake. It's just like, it's so fake. Why did you even put that on there? And the comments are just like, this is fake. Why are you even putting this on here? But here's the thing with that. You're interacting with it, and it actually keeps recommending it. So yeah, so that. But a lot of sites don't have the blue check mark. I don't know how the monetization works on TikTok, but from my understanding, if you don't have the blue check mark, I guess you're not monetized. But yeah, it's like they got all these followers, but they're not monetized. So I don't know if they're making any money off of it or not. But it's like, what are you doing? Just stop with these horrible stories. But the fiction stories on Reddit are really good. Now, I thought about posting on there, but I'll just post on my thing here. If I ever get a chance to sit down and write. Because, like I said, I had some stories I wanted to do. I need to just sit down and do them and write them out real quick. And the ones I can just read. The Cyborg story. Because I thought about having a story for Cyborg in the first one. I might go ahead and start on that one. Because I'm at an impasse on my book on how to end it. So maybe if I shift gears and write a story. I did want to do artwork for it, but I may just like go to Google and grab some artwork or something like that for it. It may not actually work for a lot of it. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just write it and read it. And I'll just leave it at that and do artwork some other time. But yeah, I'm just blocked. Like I went back like 2 pages and I use Word, and I used the text to talk speech on there and just sit there and listen to it. And I get to the end and it's like, I can see them. It's like I'm ending the story. It feels like I'm ending the story too soon. So it's like, where do I need to change it to extend it? Maybe that will work if I can figure out where to go and extend it. But I'm at a stopping point where I could extend it. And I think that's part of the problem. Like, it feels like the story should continue instead of coming to an end. So I've been trying to work on that, see what I can come up with. And it's just, I'm racking my brain. It's like, I end up picking up my phone and start playing on TikTok. I get so frustrated. But man, what's funny is sometimes I'll sit there, play on TikTok, and then it's like, I'm just thinking, sitting there staring at TikTok, and then I'll think about, oh, I'm hungry, and then I'm like, my diet's horrible. I was like, I need to fix that. Then I'll start researching diets. It's like, so I've completely forgot about the story, and I'm off in La La Land. And my diet, like I said, my diet's horrible, but I've been working on it. But man, it's weird when it comes to weight loss. Like, most of my life, I wasn't really that heavy. I didn't really start getting heavy until late 20s. Because I was still active. I could cut grass. I could do things. You know, I could lift weights. And then I met my wife. It's her fault. I got that comfortable fat on me, and now I got to get rid of it. I just need to get out there and be more active. I don't know what I'm going to do. I was active the other day, walking around doing grocery shopping, and worked up a sweat. Because we're going up and down every single... If we go grocery shopping, how many you have to go up and down every single aisle? I am not that person. I don't need to go up and down every single aisle. My wife, when we first started shopping, felt the need to go up and down every single aisle. And I was just like, yeah, we're not doing that. I'm not going up and down every single aisle. Tell me what you need. We'll go get it. I am not going up and down every single aisle. It's not necessary. But I don't want to miss anything. Make a list. Make sure we check everything off the list. To me, it was that simple. And the later years of our relationship, she stopped going up and down every single aisle. It's like, we do not need to go up and down every single aisle. And then later I found out there was a lot of people who do that. It's like, and it's not just women who do it. There are men who do it, it's like a compulsion where they have to go up and down every single aisle. I cannot do that. Even in the early stage of our relationship, you know, I'm not into being around a lot of people. So we shop at Walmart. So it's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going up and down every single aisle. That's not happening. And I'm just happy she doesn't feel the need to do that anymore. I finally rubbed off on her. But yeah, it was weird going up and down every single aisle. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that. No, And my wife, I love her. But she'll ask me a question about something like, she's like, oh, what do you want for... Now, this is something I will say is a woman thing. Oh, I'm hungry. What do you want to eat? It's like, what do you want? Well, I want this and I want this. So which one do you want more? Well, what do you want? No, I'm not answering that. I flat out tell her I am not answering that question. She's like, well, why not? Because I'll pick something, you'll pick the opposite, and then you'll be mad we didn't get the other thing. So I'm not playing that game. You tell me what you want. I can eat anywhere. I can, then I will mess with her. Let's say she wants a restaurant, say Longhorns, and I want Applebee's. I'm not a big fan of Applebee's, but let's just say Applebee's. And she'll pick Longhorn. I'll be, but I want Applebee's though. She'll go, oh, okay, we can get Applebee's. I was messing with you. I was testing you. You failed. So yeah, I will do that to her. Mess with her. Like, no, we're getting Longhorn. I was messing with you. But yeah, she does it. She did that the other day talking about Chinese and McDonald's. I was like, what do you want? Because I can eat either one. It don't matter to me. And we got Chinese. I think she was joking. She got McDonald's. And she was laughing, so I think she was joking. Because she does that. And then it got to the point where my daughter was like, looks at her like, she's talking about, what do you want? And my daughter goes, what do you want? So it's not all women. My daughter is I've put some things in my daughter's head. It's like, don't do that. Don't ever do that. If you ever get in a relationship, don't do that. Don't do that. And my wife also had a bad habit where she would ask me her opinion on outfits. And it got to the point, it was like, don't ask me no more. Because I tell you which one you look good in, and you pick the opposite. So don't ask me no more. And you'll have people like, well, how are you still in a relationship? Because I'm not an idiot. Because I'm a human being and I communicate with my wife. That's how I'm in a relationship. My wife's not an idiot, and she understands asking me these questions is futile. And growing up, my sister knew if she asked me a question about how she looked at something, she knew I was going to be honest. And that has never changed for me. So my wife will put on the other outfit and complain about that outfit. It's like, yeah, I told you to wear the other one because you look better in that one, and it always fits better. It's like, oh, I'm going to go change. Oh, really? And it's just like, shocker. And I will say she's gotten better at that. Either she just doesn't ask me, or she'll ask me how I look. I say, you look fine. And it's like, oh, but they might say something. So then bitch slap them. Like, you look fine. And my wife was one of those people where if I told her she looked good or something like that, she's like, oh, what? At the time, I didn't realize that my wife had low self-esteem when it came to her looks. It was like, what? You're beautiful. What's going on? And my wife, like I said, she's called me handsome. And so two people with low self-esteem are trying to talk up the other person. It's basically what our relationship is. But yeah, we've definitely gotten better at it. She knows I think she's attractive. I know she thinks I'm attractive, so it's all good. And that's what really matters. So when I hear people upset, worried about what other people think about them instead of their spouse, is like, so let me get this straight. Your spouse thinks you're handsome or gorgeous or pretty, whatever, but because Tim, Jill, Larry, and Sarah think your outfit's ugly or you're ugly, you're going to worry about their opinion instead of your spouse's or whoever you're with opinion. But yet you don't understand why the person you're with is angry at you over that. That's called, you need to go get help, because you're worried about the wrong person's opinion of you. If you're so concerned about other people's opinion of you in a relationship instead of the person you're with opinion, yeah, you shouldn't be in that relationship. I guess we're back on relationships. I just realized that. But yeah, relationships are a tricky thing. Actually, I take that back. They're not a tricky thing. Relationships actually aren't that hard. We just make them that hard because we're with the wrong person, and we don't want to admit we're with the wrong person. We would rather just suffer it out. It's like, why are you suffering instead of being with the right person? And I see this stuff. I'm like, I'll hear people, like I'll hear old married couples bitter and angry, and they're still married. Well, we're married. It's like, so? Get divorced. You guys are miserable together. There was a situation where this couple had been married a long time, and they were both in their 50s. Kids are grown. They're actually starting to have kids around. And finally they got divorced, and they realized how miserable they were. And the best part is their kids were happy for them. They're like, about time. You guys are horrible together. And when they got divorced, they actually stayed friends. And it turned out they're just better friends than being husband and wife. And they both moved on. They stayed friends. They still got the kids together, but they just moved on. And they realized, oh, we're better friends than husband and wife. And it took them being well into their 50s for them to realize this. So, don't be that couple. If you're not happy in a relationship, get out. But don't go get engaged every 2 seconds. I see celebrities doing that. And that happens in regular life too. People go, you'll see someone just got divorced. There was a girl I worked with actually at a job. She just got divorced and then went and got married like as soon as the divorce was finalized. It's like the ink hasn't even dried and you're already getting married again. And from my understanding, she's divorced already. It's like, why did you get married? It's like, what the hell? It's like, why are you married and divorced? And I don't get it. And there are people who just go from marriage to marriage to marriage. It's like, no, that's a horrible idea. Well, yeah, relationships aren't as complicated as we make them out to be. Case in point, like with this podcast stuff, I could just go max out a credit card, buy a high-end camera, microphone, all that stuff, and just say, the hell with the family, it's my money too. But there's something I take in consideration doing this. I'm not going to spend money on this. It's not because I don't believe in it. Actually, maybe I don't believe in it. Because I'm not doing this for money. Would I like to make money off of it? Yes, of course I would. But I didn't start it to make money off of it. I started it to help with me talking more. And I would definitely say it's helped a lot. But yeah, and because of that, like I said, I have no desire to go out and spend money on this yet. Now, if I turned around and started making money off this, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to upgrade everything. I'm upgrading the mic. I'm upgrading. Like my computer is 5 years old, maybe 6 now. So it's an older computer. I would probably spend the money and go buy a new computer. I'm at the point that I wouldn't build another computer. I built the last 4 computers I've had, and I build mine the last, so that's an upside. So if I bought one, I'm going to spend some money and get a nice one. And I was thinking about the cameras. You can buy a lot of used equipment because there's a lot of people who are doing podcasts and YouTube and all that who aren't doing it anymore. And so, I could always go and buy their old equipment and usually get a nice discount. But yeah, I just I just don't go around spending money on myself unless it's something I know I'm going to use. I hate spending money on myself, and it just like I bought the program Moho, and it's just been sitting on my computer, and I haven't done anything with it, which sucks. Maybe this weekend I'll finally start doing my classes for it, because my goal was to learn Moho this year, but so far in January I haven't been moving slow. The only thing I've gotten started is this podcast. Like I said, I'm stalled on the book, and I'm just so tired, actually. I've been tired a lot. After I had COVID the last time, I don't think my energy's coming back, to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people get run down after they have COVID, and I'm kind of thinking it may hit me harder this time. It didn't feel like it lasted longer, which is weird. It didn't feel it lasted as long. But, yeah, I don't know. And I had a sneezing fit. That actually hurt my vocal cords. That hurt my throat. So there's that. So that was a lot of fun. Because today is Wednesday. I was going to start this on Monday, but my vocal cords were hurting. And so I figured I'll just wait until my throat feels better. It does feel better today. But, I just thought of something. Oh man, there goes my throat. That actually hurt. I just tried to swallow it. Ooh, that hurt. Okay, I'm not doing as good as I thought I was. But what I was going to say, I just back to short stories. There was a new short story part of it. See, I can sit here and think of a story. And I thought of like 6 stories today. It's like, oh man, I got to stop thinking of new stories. Because when I was trying to do the 1-minute stories, I had one, and I wasn't sure how I was going to write it. It was basically about, I was going to call it, Is That You, Velma? And basically, it was going to be a story about how a guy lives in this apartment complex. He has a new neighbor who wears glasses, has really short hair. Like she basically has the lesbian butch haircut kind of thing. The short hair shaved on one side. And she looks like a boy. It looks like one of those doughy looking white boys who, when you look at him, you're not sure. So it's like, oh, hey, you don't know what they identify as, so you're just like, oh, okay. And so basically, he was going to discover that she's an OnlyFans and her thing is she dresses up like Velma, and that's why she has short hair, is so she can wear the wig. It's easier to wear the wig with the short hair. And discovered the reason she's shaved on both sides is for the stuff. The adhesive seems to hold better. And I'm trying to get all that into a 1-minute story to explain why she looks the way she does. And when she's all dolled up, it's like, oh, she's a freaky Velma. But it didn't fit in a 1-minute story. So I may still do the story, just not as a 1-minute story. I think I'm abandoning the 1-minute story. It was a nice idea, but it's not going to work. I don't have the writing talent to pull that off to get a story in 1 minute. Actually, I take that back. I had to do something like that for school, actually, where you had 1 minute to sell yourself to someone, and not a second over. And I just kept doing it over and over until I got it. And I had to find a good talking pace to make sure I was speaking clearly and was getting my point across. And I got an A on it. So maybe I can think of it that way. I was thinking about, friends, no friends. Like, do I want friends? Yes. Do I really want friends? No. There was one thing. The plane that had the window blowout. I saw a picture of it, and someone commented, that doesn't look like a window. It looks like an emergency exit. And I was looking at it, it's like, yeah, that looks like an emergency exit. And they said there was a teen sitting next to it, and I hate to have that thought. But what do we know about this teen who was sitting by that emergency exit? I'm sure they're looking into that. But yeah, that was an emergency exit. That was no window. Because it makes you think that, because they're talking about a window blew off. No, that was not a window. The one I saw, that was not a window. Unless was there more than one where they're having issues with that? But this last one, that was an emergency exit. And I have seen people pull the emergency exit, and planes had to make an emergency landing. So yeah, part of me kind of wonders about that. Even if it wasn't a teen who was sitting there, the fact that someone was sitting there kind of makes me wonder. And I'll be honest with you, I would not want to sit by the emergency exit for two reasons. One, I'd be afraid I would accidentally knock it doing something. And the other thing is something like that where it blows up for whatever reason. But my biggest fear would be I would catch that emergency exit just right to where it would blow open. Like I'm trying to get up to go to the bathroom and catch it, and then next thing I'm being sucked out of a plane. Yeah, I don't sit near the emergency exit. I haven't been on a plane in a long time. Lucky enough, the times I have been on it, I was nowhere near an emergency exit. I think I would have had a panic attack if I was sitting near an emergency exit, because that would just be too much for me. But speaking of people who probably should have played basketball, the guy that jumped over the bench at the judge, the way he went over that thing was hilarious. I mean, honestly, I feel sorry for the judge getting attacked like that. But he cleared that damn thing. Nothing touched. It's like, dude, you should have focused on basketball with those hops. Like, how did you get up like that? He just, I don't know if he's on crack or what, but whatever drug he was on, he was airborne. He got up there. And it was just like, Judge, it was just like, Judge, it was just like, Judge, I'm coming for you. And he was up and over. And it's just like, how'd you clear that? Even at my best, I've never had been able to get that high. And, usually people who train NBA, there's a lot of NBA players that wouldn't have been able to do that, who can slam dunk, but they would never been able to clear that. And just for the footage I saw, it didn't even like he ran toward it, how you squat down and like he just ran toward it and shoo, he was airborne. It's like, what the hell? I will admit, some of the memes they had were funny. Like when you're at McDonald's and they won't give you your fries and they show them flying over the thing. And there's even a cartoon one where they traced over and got him flying. Oh, he cleared that crap with the greatest of ease. And it's just like, where did that come from? It's like, but when he came back into court, he was chained up, mask on. I don't know if he was trying to bite people or not, but they put a muzzle on him. It's like, and those cops were just waiting for him to move. They're gonna beat him down. I was like, but yeah, that was, he cleared that with such ease. It's like, how did you clear that? He just, I don't know. But also, in the other court news, the whole Gypsy Rose stuff, being told she had to leave. I forget what state it was. You got to leave right now. And it's like, she's on probation. And that's her residency. And I'm kind of wondering the legalities of that, to be honest with you. Because I'd be getting lawyers. Like, can they do that? It's like, I just got out. Can they just kick me out the state like that? And there's some legal stuff. I'll be definitely going to my lawyers and like, hey, we need to see the legalities on this. And it was because she was going to see Taylor Swift or something like that, or she's going to a football game. And it's like, yeah, you're giving me back all my money. You're giving me back all my money. We're going to have to work out some monetary thing here. It's like, Like, yeah, I know I'm killing my mom, but I just spent a lot of money on this stuff. You're giving me, my money back. That stuff ain't cheap. So, yeah, and she's going to be coming out with her own reality show. I haven't been following her. TikTok follows her. Let's put it that way. She pops up. It's like, keep going, keep going. But, she's going to be getting on a reality show. Just watch it. If she doesn't already have one, she's definitely going to get one. They're going to follow her on Life After Prison or something like that. It's going to be something generic or something with their name in the title. I got my Yahoo up, and I was just happening to glance over it. And something I always found interesting is people who are obsessed with celebrity couples. I've never been obsessed with celebrities. I've never been obsessed with celebrities in general. Were there a few back in the day that I would have liked to met? Yeah. Probably the person I would like to meet would have been Muhammad Ali. If I ever got a chance to meet him, that would have been awesome. Richard Pryor probably would have been another person I would like to meet. Bill Cosby was one of the people I would have liked to have met. But I really can't think of anyone right now. The only person I could probably think right now I would like to meet is Mike Tyson. The Mike Tyson of now. Not the Mike Tyson of old, because he probably would have tried to fight me for some reason. He just always seemed like he was raring to go. What the Mike Tyson now is level-headed. He's calm. This calm Mike Tyson. This calm Mike Tyson is awesome. He just seems like an awesome guy to be around. He's just very zen. It's like he's found his calm, and he's just living in it. And that's the person I would like to meet, just because he's found his calm. Is the best way to put it. If you can find that stillness to where life doesn't bother you no more, you have achieved something great. And that is something I would love to find one day in life, just that stillness, that calm, to where nothing bothers me in life. I don't know if I ever get there. I don't know if I ever get there, but yeah, I think if you can find that, hold on to it for as long as you can, because that's a rare, very rare thing to get a hold of, is a stillness like that, to be so calm and not let things bother you and just go on with life. Like, there was a video where a guy pulled a gun on Mike Tyson in the club, and Mike Tyson just pretty much talked to the guy. He talked the guy out of whatever he was doing. I don't think the guy actually pulled the gun on Mike Tyson, but he pulled a gun in the club. Mike just talked him down. To have that calmness to where you can do that, that's a rare thing, and he's definitely found it. And hopefully one day I can find it. It'd be nice if we all could find it. I mean, that would be so awesome. But like I was saying, I had my Yahoo open. I was talking about celebrity couples, but yeah, I just don't get why people are so obsessed with celebrity couples. I never got it. It's like the new power couple. Don't care. Move on. And yeah, it's really weird. And then was it the news people who had an affair are now the new celebrity couple or something? It's like they cheated on their spouses and you guys are celebrating them. Really? It's like, get out of here with that crap. Yeah, and God forbid if you're a celebrity couple and you two have an argument, their relationship's on the rock. It's an argument. Couples have arguments. Get over it. And if they get divorced, who cares? It's their business. Leave them alone. And people who use that argument, well, people have a right to know. No, you don't actually. Well, they're in the spotlight. That doesn't mean you have the right to invade their privacy. Cut that crap out. I've never been impressed by news articles that can go and basically break into people's houses and get pictures of them. They got telephoto lenses that can take a picture on the moon using it to spy in your house. Luckily enough, some states have passed laws against that stuff. It's like, yeah, you print those pictures, you're going to jail for peeping Tom, because they got peeping Tom laws where that applies. Like, you're Obama slug or freedom of speech. No. You look through their home with a telephoto lens that can see a fly on the moon, basically. That's a peeping Tom. You're being a peeping Tom. If they were outside, that'd be one thing. They're in a home with the expectation of privacy. You violated their privacy. So, yeah, that goes out the window. You are not in the right on this. So, yeah. And it's just celebrities in general. I don't get it. There are some good celebrities and there's some bad celebrities. And the bad ones, I think, ruin it for all celebrities, to be honest with you. Like when you have that celebrity, you know who I am? It's like, no, I don't. There's even like B-list celebrities and C-list celebrities and Z-list celebrities who think they should get a preferential treatment places. Like, nah. God, if I ever owned a restaurant and I had a celebrity show up and they expect to get treated a certain way, it's like, you can leave. You can badmouth me all you want. I don't care. You can leave. Because I'm not giving you that treatment that you're looking for. So, yeah, this celebrity is obsessed society that we have is weird to me. It's so weird. I just don't get. I've never gotten it. Now, as for if you are the celebrity, I get it on that side because it works out to your benefit. You get free stuff. You get treated a certain way, and you're making money. So I get it on that aspect. But as for a fan who becomes obsessed with you, I don't get why. This person doesn't know you're alive. And you're obsessed when you've worked out this scenario in your head, and it's like it's not real. And then when you realize it's not real, you snap and try to kill the celebrity, or actually succeed at killing them. It's like, what in the world? So yeah, celebrity culture is weird to me. It's been weird ever since I was a kid. I never understood it. And another thing is, just because someone is on social media or you know who they are, doesn't mean they're doing well. Like Halle Berry, she talks about how she was barely making any money, but everyone knew her name. She was actually broke a lot of times, and no one knew it. There's a lot of celebrities like that who are struggling, who you think are doing good because you see them in tabloids and stuff, when in reality, they're struggling, either financially or emotionally. Like you'll have recent celebrities who took their lives. It's like, you don't know the whole story. You have the part of the story they want you to know. So you concocted this whole fantasy about them, and then when you find out the fantasy's not real, you get mad at them. It's like, you created the fantasy. Be mad at yourself. But yeah, celebrity stuff is just weird to me. When I hear fans obsessed with stuff, it's like, I wish I could get obsessed with making money like that, but I'm not going to get obsessed over anyone. I've never been obsessed over anyone. I mean, I just think it's weird when you get that obsessed over someone. It's like, what is wrong with you? But yeah, it's just interesting to me. But yeah, it's just oh man, celebrity stuff, and the people who are celebrities, like reality star celebrities, and now we got influencer celebrities, and it's like that term. It used to be you had to do something to be a celebrity. Now you just got to get your face out there so much to where people think you're a celebrity. There was a thing that was done where this guy just hired a bunch of photographers and some bodyguards and just got out of a car like he was somebody, and even got people to pretend like they knew he was a singer or something, and other people just joined in and think, oh yeah, I know who he is, because they didn't want to admit they didn't know who it was. If they had come up to me, I'm like, I have no clue who that is, like, oh, you don't know who that is? Like, no. Who is he? What's he done? Tell me. And I probably just went, oh, okay. Maybe I have heard it. I don't know. Still don't know who he is. I would have been horrible for that, because I wouldn't have bought into it. Because I just would have been honest and be like, I have no clue who that is. But people talk about, oh yeah, he has that one single. Yeah. And it's like, no, you're an idiot. Don't do that. It's like, just be honest. You don't know who that is and move on. But yeah, it's like, that's even like sports celebrities, what I meant to say. there was a time where people who were fans of sports were fans of sports. They followed football, they followed basketball, things like that, baseball, But now you can be a fan of an athlete and not be into sports because they're on social media, which I think is weird as hell, to be honest with you. It's like that guy dating Taylor Swift, Travis, I'm not sure how to say his last name. I had no clue who he was. I don't follow sports. The only reason I knew who he was because of social media kept talking about him. And it's like, really? And it's like Simone Biles' husband is an athlete, and even they were doing a video talking about he's the prize. I'm like, Simone has been brainwashed if she believes that. It's like, you're the prize because we have no clue who he is. So yeah, it's things like that. And if they're happy in a relationship, that's awesome. But yeah, they need to both realize Simone is a celebrity. He's just there. We don't know who he is, But again, if they're happy in a relationship, awesome. And so yeah, so you can be famous for being an athlete and all that stuff. That was always a thing, but now the definition of being a celebrity has changed so much thanks to the internet. You can be famous for different things. And like I said at the beginning of that, is that you can be famous and still be broke. A lot of people think because you're a name that you have money. Nope. Still broke. So yeah, it's very interesting how fame and being a celebrity work. And then there's also being infamous. I don't know, would I rather be a celebrity or infamous? Because there are some advantages to being infamous. If you're infamous, you can get away with a lot more stuff because they expect it of you. So if you're a total dog or an asshole to someone, it's no big deal. But if you're a nice person and you're a dog and an asshole to someone, your whole thing is destroyed. This whole persona you have is gone. It's over. You got to rebrand yourself. Now, if you didn't start off as the bad boy and you try to be the bad boy and people just laugh at you and make fun of you and it's over. But if you start off as the bad boy, but you're the bad boy with a heart of gold, it's all good. It's there's that. Well, I think I'm going to wind it down here. So, like I said, podcast 002. And again, like I said, I probably won't say the number anymore. I think I'm getting a little more relaxed. Definitely for the next one, I'm definitely going to try to come up with 10 things to talk about. Again, I may do relationships again. I seem to enjoy actually talking about relationships. Maybe I'll talk about the job environment too. That was interesting for me. But yeah, just see what comes to mind. That's my take on this and that. Thank you for listening. Take care.